Two Disney parks, same characters, same magic, but land by land, the experience, completely different. We've got thoughts and they might surprise you. In this adventure, we're walking through Disneyland and comparing each land to its closest counterpart at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. We're not going ride for ride, we're looking at the overall feel, theming, and magic each land delivers. Some lands match up perfectly, others, you won't find them in Florida at all. And if you're wondering which Disneyland rides don't exist at Disney World, that's a whole separate adventure that's coming up. We'll also save the food and snacks for another video too, because churros versus pretzels, that deserves a battle its own. The Disneyland Monorail is more than just transportation. It's a unique way to enter the park. At Walt Disney World, the magic is iconic, but it mainly serves as transportation between parks and resorts. Once you step off that monorail into Disneyland, the energy changes. The magic begins the second your feet hit the ground. So here's what you need to know if you're taking the monorail at Disneyland. It actually starts in downtown Disney, and it only makes the one stop in Tomorrowland, then it comes back here. So it's not the Disney World experience where you can take it to multiple parks. You can't take this over to DCA. You cannot pick it up directly from your hotel. You have to get it in downtown Disney, and you will be dropped off back in downtown Disney. Question is, who does it better, Disney World or Disneyland? Let us know what you think in the comments below. We are in the first monorail leaving out of the station today, and the windows are actually open, so there's no air conditioning, and that also probably means there's no heat. It's not cool enough for heat. And as with all Disney transportation, do not depend on this if you need to be someplace at a certain time. The monorail opened a little bit after 8, and the park opens at 8, so you can't depend on this to get you to the park at 8 a.m. So for further context, we got onto the monorail at 8:02, it's 8:10, and we're still sitting here.
To those of you who have just joined us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Monorail. For your safety, please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the cabin. We're now en route to our final stop, the Tomorrowland Monorail Station. Along the way, you can get a bird's-eye look at the downtown Disney District, Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa, and Disney California Adventure. To the left of the monorail is the main entrance of Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. Disneyland is truly an American original. Since its opening in 1955, it has hosted hundreds of millions of guests from around the world. To the right is our Transportation Plaza, where you'll find taxis, hotel shuttles, and public transit stops. This is Tomorrowland, a land inspired by science, fact, and fantasy. Below us is the Submarine Lagoon, where you can dive into a fantastic underwater adventure aboard the Finding Nemo submarine voyage. Across the way are the icy peaks of Matterhorn Mountain, home of the world's most famous bobsled run. And beneath us is the Autopia, where drivers of all ages can travel the road to tomorrow. To the right of the monorail, you just might spot the sparkling gold spires of one of Disney's most beloved attractions. It's a small world. And now we're riding alongside the happiest kingdom of them all, Fantasyland, home to Pinocchio, Snow White, Peter Pan, and other storybook characters. We're now approaching the Tomorrowland Monorail Station, our final destination. Please remain seated until the monorail comes to a complete stop. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the train. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us, and we hope you'll have a happy and memorable visit here at Disneyland. This is the Tomorrowland Monorail Station.
So that ride on the monorail, who does it better? Walt Disney World. It is so much more fluid, it's better organized, there's more to see. It is the OG, and it is the precursor to what we have and all of the great transportation we have at Disney World today. And Disney World just does the monorail better. Main Street USA at Disneyland is more compact than Magic Kingdom's, but that actually adds to its charm. You're closer to the castle, the details feel more personal, and the entertainment is woven right into the streets. One thing Disneyland absolutely does better: characters. On our visit, we saw classic favorites like Mickey and Minnie, and later, well, just wait until you see who shows up in the lands. Next up, Adventureland. Both parks have versions of this land, but Disneyland's is tighter, denser, and full of kinetic energy. From jungle drums to tiki torches, you're immersed the moment you step in. One thing we loved, how many classics are packed into such a small space. There's the Jungle Cruise, Indiana Jones Adventure, which doesn't exist in Florida, and of course, Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. The Adventureland Treehouse is another gem, inspired by Swiss Family Robinson, but reimagined for a new generation. It's interactive, explorable, and beautifully detailed, perfect for kids and nostalgic adults alike. At Magic Kingdom, the Tiki Room still exists, but it is tucked away and a little less of a centerpiece. At Disneyland, it feels like it belongs, especially when you grab a Dole Whip from the stand right next door and head inside for the show. So, when it comes to Adventureland, who does Adventureland better? Disneyland or Disney World? For my vote, I'm going all the way Disneyland, just if for no other reason but the Indiana Jones attraction. That attraction is so much fun. It's the same ride technology as we have on Dinosaur in Disney World, which should be closing soon, and we hear this ride is coming there. The only thing I hope is that they choose a different temple to explore and a slightly different theme, and it's not a carbon copy.
Denise said it exactly the way I was going to say it. Disneyland because of Indy. That ride was just amazing, and just hands down, I think Disneyland takes it because of that ride.
Next, we're comparing two slower-paced, story-rich lands, New Orleans Square at Disneyland and Liberty Square at Magic Kingdom. They're very different in theme, French Quarter charm versus colonial America, but both serve as immersive transitions between high-energy lands. New Orleans Square gives you layered storytelling, jazz music, and close access to Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion. Liberty Square has Hall of Presidents and its own version of the Haunted Mansion. While we're enjoying our churro, let's talk about who does it better, New Orleans Square. Of course, Disney World doesn't have a New Orleans Square. Here in Disneyland, this is where you'll find the Haunted Mansion behind me, which is currently closed and down for refurb, unfortunately, which gives me a reason to come back to see that one. And Pirates is also here in New Orleans Square. So, New Orleans Square is unique. It's not a matter of who does it better, it just is. 2 thumbs up for New Orleans Square. Now, let's head towards Frontierland, and a few touches Disney World is starting to phase out. Both parks have Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Disney World's is slightly longer and faster, but we prefer Disneyland's for its smoother ride and fun dynamite finale. Plus, Disneyland still has the Frontierland Shooting Arcade, which has been removed from the Magic Kingdom. What's Disneyland missing? Those country bears. Okay, so the question is, who does Frontierland better, Disney World or Disneyland? Disneyland has their version of Tom Sawyer Island called Pirate's Lair on Tom Sawyer Island. There's a Mark Twain riverboat, there's a sailing ship Columbia, and Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. I personally am going to give this one to Disney World. There is more in Frontierland there than here. You have soon-to-be Tiana's Bayou Adventure. You, of course, have Big Thunder. You have the Country Bears. But there just seems like there's a little bit more to do in Disney World. So I am going to give it to Disney World.
Between Disney World and Disneyland, I'd say I'm going to go with Disney World as a whole. I think there's more things to do in Disney World.
I think that the Big Thunder Mountain here is better than the one at Disney World because it feels longer to me and that it has more drops.
Let's talk about two lands you won't find at Magic Kingdom: Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Bayou Country. Galaxy's Edge does exist at Disney World, but it's located in Hollywood Studios. At Disneyland, it's tucked into a corner of the park that is accessible from Bayou Country, Fantasyland, or Frontierland.
Black Spire Outpost here on the planet Batu. It's a tie. It's the same exact stuff here as you get in Disney World, maybe slightly laid out differently. It's about the same in size. No difference here. Straight up tie. Hands down.
Bayou Country, formerly known as Critter Country, was under construction at the time of our visit as Tiana's Bayou Adventure was being added. What we love is how naturally it flows from nearby lands. Now that it's complete, the whole area should feel like a seamless story. Alright, Critter Country. There is not a Critter Country in Disney World. There is one here in Disneyland. And in Critter Country, you'll find Winnie the Pooh. Who does it better, Disney World or Disneyland? Hands down, Disney World has the best queue. It's interactive, there's plenty to play with and to do there. I think the honey pot technology has gotten better in Disney World, so your bouncy is much better. And I'm going to give the edge to that ride as well. Just in general, I think that whole experience is stronger there than here. This was the precursor and they improved it there. Fantasyland at Disneyland is dense with attractions. You'll find classic dark rides like Mr. Toad, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, and more, some of which are not at Magic Kingdom. It's compact, charming, and full of nostalgia.
So let's talk about Fantasyland. Who does Fantasyland better? In order to talk about Fantasyland, we also have to talk about Mickey's Toontown. Now, we used to have a Mickey's Toontown in Disney World, and that closed for new Fantasyland. So it's a really tough and tight competition because there is a different feel and different restaurants and different things in Disney World and new Fantasyland that you just don't have here in Disneyland. However, for the nostalgia, for the beauty of the original park, I am going to give Fantasyland to Disneyland. That's my vote. Disneyland wins this one, hands down.
Toontown at Disneyland is a fully realized land with 2 rides, interactive play areas, character zones, and places to grab a quick bite. Storybook Circus at Magic Kingdom isn't an exact replacement, but it was built in the space where Toontown used to be. Both are geared towards your littles. And in our opinion, Disneyland definitely does it better, especially for families with kids who love to play and explore.
Okay, so Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. That's the next thing that's in Toontown that we should talk about. It is essentially the same ride that you get over in Disney World, only of course it's in Hollywood Studios there. Here it's in Toontown/Fantasyland, which is really where I think it belongs, but be that as it may. Still the same fun ride. The real differences here are the queues. Over here in California, you get more of a red carpet feel. It's more like a movie premiere.
We've got one more land to explore, and it's where tomorrow meets nostalgia.
And so who does Tomorrowland better, Disney World or Disneyland? Disneyland has Star Tours, it has Astro Blasters with Buzz Lightyear, it has Hyperspace Mountain at the moment, it has Autotopia. It also has, we're not sure if the Nemo sub goes along with this, and it also has Astro Orbiters just above us. Who does it better? There are a lot of the similar rides here. One thing I will say is not better is that when you come off of a ride, you kind of have to take a picture of the photo and use the code or email it to yourself. So Disney World definitely does ride photos better. This land, of course, is more compact because it's a smaller land. I will say Astro Blasters is much better than Buzz Lightyear Star Command down in Disney World. You get to actually lift the blasters and you get to shoot the blasters that way. Autotopia is much better than the Tomorrowland Speedway because the track is longer, but this, I feel, is the better experience. So overall, I'm going to give Tomorrowland to Disneyland.
Okay, so which Tomorrowland do I prefer? Disneyland or Disney World? I'm gonna say it's hands down Disneyland for one major reason, and that is the wait time. The wait time is like 5-10 minutes. You can also get your lightning lane, so everything is just going much faster. It's smoother. it's a more pleasant experience. And because Disneyland is new to me, I am liking it a lot more just for the novelty of it.
One of the other really great things about Tomorrowland here at Disneyland is that we have our DVC Lounge right here behind us, the Star Wars launch bay. Come along as we take you inside and have a quick look around. We decided to take the stairs, though there are elevators available. Let's see how this one compares to the one in Epcot. Hello. How are you? Thank you. Love the mood music in here. Really nice. Okay, let's see what's available in the lounge and find a seat. So here in the member lounge, you have coffee, you have one of those Coke machines, and I don't see any snacks though.
This is where Disneyland really shines. We spent time chatting with Captain Jack Sparrow on Tom Sawyer Island. We watched Alice and the Mad Hatter roam and joke with guests. These were spontaneous, unscripted moments, and they made our trip unforgettable. At Walt Disney World, characters are amazing, but they're usually confined to structured meet and greets. Disneyland feels more like a story that you've stepped into. So, who does it better? Disneyland or Magic Kingdom? The answer really depends on what matters most to you. For us, we prefer Disneyland's charm and spontaneous character moments, but we prefer Magic Kingdom's scale. Tell us in the comments which land is your favorite and which park do you think does it better. In our next adventure, we're exploring all the rides at Disneyland that you can't find at Walt Disney World, including some absolute must-dos for first-timers. And soon after that, we're diving into Disneyland's iconic snacks. We'll give you our take on all the snacks we tried on this trip. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that you know when the next adventure begins. And no matter where your next adventures take you, we hope that you enjoy the journey. Bye now.